Hello and welcome to the Feck It Fun, Fabulous and Free Eating Disorder Recovery podcast. I'm Helly and I'm here to provide regular bursts of information and inspiration, some neuroscience applicable to eating disorder recovery, perhaps a few rants, but otherwise lots of positivity with a bit of a feck it attitude, some fun and a sprinkling of fabulousness to help everyone find freedom in recovery. Good morning, everybody, or whatever time of day it is, wherever you are in the world, and welcome to the Feck It Fun, Fabulous and Free Eating Disorder Recovery podcast. My name's Helly. I'm a professional coach working with people in recovery from eating disorders and disordered eating. In today's episode, I just want to encourage you to go wild and free in your eating disorder recovery. Because how many times have I already said in this up to now quite short eating disorder recovery series that eating disorder recovery is tough. It's hard work, it's emotional, it creates a lot of side effects which aren't particularly pleasant. It's distressing. It turns you into a horrible person at times where you just want to shout at everybody. Eating disorder recovery is exhausting, emotional, terrifying, draining, and it's all-consuming of your whole life if you let it be. But it doesn't have to be completely serious, completely dreadful, completely horrendous. It doesn't have to be the devil that we often portray it to be. Sometimes eating disorder recovery can even be a bit fun. And there's no reason why you can't have a bit more fun in your eating disorder recovery. There's no reason why you can't go wild and free in your eating disorder recovery and why you can't do that today. Because sometimes you just have to sit in eating disorder recovery, feel frustrated, be pissed off at the illness, be annoyed at the fact that you didn't let yourself eat that whatever it was last night that you really wanted to eat but the eating disorder stopped you. Get mad at it and then just pull on the feck it mindset in your recovery and find your wild and free side. Because let's face it, eating disorders make us rigid, they make us uptight, unemotional, driven, they make us perfectionistic, and yes, I'm going to say it because it's true, they make us boring, really quite boring at times. Because, when you have an eating disorder, it's understandable. All your brain is focused on is food and survival. It doesn't have the mental capacity and energy to put to finding fun in life. But now you're in recovery. You are feeding your body. You are giving it the energy it needs. It's time to get out of the boring side of you, get out of the boring eating disordered life and get into the wild and free side of yourself. Find your inner wild and free wisdom and start to live it. Because if you have lived with an eating disorder for any amount of time, I suspect that you've probably lost your slightly wilder side that was once there. And most definitely that you don't feel particularly free in your life because for years you've been chained to the commands of the illness. And even in recovery, you're probably still feeling chained to maybe a lesser degree, but still somewhat chained to the eating disorder's demands as you desperately fight each day not to do the things the eating disorder's trying to get you to do. So perhaps now it's time to dig deep, find your inner child, and decide that today is the perfect day to go a bit wild and free in your eating disorder recovery. And that, that might involve food, that might involve going out and finding those foods that you absolutely loved as a child. Because I suspect that those are the foods that you might have avoided for a long time with your eating disorder. But the foods that we love to eat as a child are very often the foods that we still secretly crave deep down, even with the eating disorder. And we might have convinced ourselves, we might have convinced everybody around us that we don't like those foods now. But I suspect you do. So think about the foods that you loved as a child. And maybe go out and grab some of those today and have fun with them. Or just go out and have fun with food in other ways. Go to McDonald's, go and eat pizza, go to an ice cream parlour, go and grab cake and make a mess with it while you eat it. Just go and have fun, be wild, be free. You don't have to be perfectionistic in everything you do in terms of recovery. And on the other hand, going wild and free today might mean doing something that you just never would normally do that isn't necessarily related to the eating disorder. Something just so out of character that people will be amazed that you've done it. Or, some people might look and think, wow, I'm really jealous that he or she's done that. And they'll be thinking, I wish I could do the same. I think there's no reason they can't other than society stopping them, but you know better than society, and you can do these things whenever the heck you want now. So, why not dye your hair bright pink if you want to? Or buy yourself a pair of really comfortable and luxurious pajamas and wear them for the next 72 hours lying on your couch while sipping champagne and eating chocolate truffles. Or maybe just do that thing that I know there is that you've got deep down, that you always told yourself, I will do that when I'm recovered. So whatever your thing is that you've always thought, when I'm recovered, I'm going to do this. Why not go and do it today? Whatever it is, or, if it's something that takes a bit more preparation, go and start planning for it today. Because you're in recovery now. You don't have to keep delaying things for when you're recovered. You can start planning to do these things now. You can start doing these things now. Because that's the mindset you need to be in. I am in recovery. I am recovered. Start telling yourself that so that you start to believe it and you start living that life. I really urge you to stop waiting to be recovered to let yourself go. Be wild and free now, as it will help to show your brain new possibilities, new pathways. And when your brain then finds new pathways in all aspects of your life, it will make it a little easier for you to find new pathways when it comes to eating a ton of food and not compensating as well. So I'd really love to hear about whatever you do decide to do to go wild and free today or tomorrow or the next day or every day in recovery from now on. Let me know what you decide to do. Otherwise, if there's anything else you want me to talk about in this podcast series, then please let me know by email or in the comments. And if you want to find out more about my coaching, then you can do so at hellybarnes.com. Otherwise, I will see you in the next episode. Bye-bye. Thank you for listening to the Feck-It Fun, Fabulous and Free Eating Disorder Recovery podcast. Don't forget, eating disorder recovery doesn't have to be boring and doesn't have to be serious. Now go and grab yourself some food and have a fabulous rest of the day.